Right, hello. It's Saturday the 5th of April 2025. It's around about 1:45 in the afternoon, and I'm here on Broad Lane in Sheffield. Temperature's around about 15, 16 Celsius, but obviously a lot warmer in the sun, but that's all by the by. Today I've come to have a look at the new grey to green going down Broad Lane, down to West Bar, to the new Dutch roundabout, and then I think I'll walk along the original grey to green that was developed several years ago, see how that's standing up, and then probably walk up Angel Street, Snig Hill, and have a look at that. So really, this is just to compare all the different schemes that are happening at the moment in Sheffield, and just seeing and also remembering, and obviously I've recorded for this channel the original grey to green several years ago. I think I've got two or three videos on my channel, can't remember now. And so we can actually, because of that video history that I've got, we can see how good we can compare it to the original scheme, this new scheme that's happening on Broad Lane, and also obviously from my last video, the scheme on Fargate. But so let's start, and it's not good news to begin with, because we're back to it being a complete, again, excuse my language, but I'm not going to censor myself, an absolute shit tip. Nobody cares, nobody gives a toss. Obviously Amy don't care, otherwise they will be out with litter pickers every day around the whole of the city centre. There should be a set of litter pickers within the ring road, within the inner relief road, as they like to call it, permanently litter picking all the time. But as you can see, that's not happening. We've got this rickety fence again here. Now, reading comments on my last video on Facebook about this rickety fence. This fence is a temporary thing, and it's here to stop people walking across it until these plants get established. The problem is, once people do start walking across it and they start treading on the plants themselves, the ground gets compacted, and then the plants die or struggle to come through. And no plant really can survive in really heavily compacted soil. And especially because this kind of soil is very poor quality anyway. So it's not got a lot of organic matter in. So it's going to compact really quite easily. But yeah, just the state of it. Now, you know, okay, it may be that this hasn't finished yet. You've obviously got the new buildings here, new student accommodation still being built. So maybe the idea is to wait until all the building work's gone and then come in and clear it up. But why have we even planted it out then? You know, it doesn't make sense. And the planting again is very, very spotty. This is actually, the variety of plants seem to be just on this bed. This is my initial impression. The planting actually seems to be a little bit more varied and more interesting than on Fargate, but that's just first impression. That may change as I walk down the hill. So yeah, let's cross over. Still on red as he stopped. Something like that's also good. Another grey brick building which is going to look so wonderful and so attractive in the middle of winter. Or at any time of the year, really. Oh, God. We don't half know how to make our city worse, don't we? So we've just got the usual litter, but actually the planting out is quite good on this one. I mean, this is a tokenistic thing. This is not going to survive, or if it does, I'll be extremely surprised. Again, that just needs planting a little bit deeper, because that's going to dry out really, really quick. We're already in a really dry spell now. There's no rain forecast for at least another 5 or 6 days. So I don't know if this is getting watered at all. I doubt it somehow. That's already been broken down. So that could do with repairing. So yeah, I've got to leave the Burnham Bodnatense again. So we've got a substantial few trees planted. Don't know what that is, but they certainly haven't skimped on the trees. Although there's not a lot. Now, obviously, what councillors or people who are responsible for this scheme might say is that, oh, well, when the plants grow up, you're not going to see the litter. You're only seeing all the litter now because the plants are really quite small and they've yet to kind of grow big and knit together. That's no excuse at all. Anybody who comes out with that excuse is really not living in a civilized world. They really are not living in a civilized world. It's not acceptable for litter to be on the street for any more than a few seconds or a few minutes at the most. It needs removing as soon as it's actually dropped, and the people who drop it need to be made to pick it up, made to pick other people's litter up, and heavily, heavily fined. And if that means that you have to handcuff them and drag them around the city centre, then you have to do that, because I have no tolerance at all for not being really, really harsh on people who drop litter, people who deface the public realm. Need severe, and I emphasise the word severe, punishment. You know, it's not a trivial thing. It diminishes everybody's standard of living. Everybody's standard of living. Because it affects the economic activity of an area. It makes an area look run down. Now at the moment, they've got the fence up to protect this area here, but there's no planting that's gone in, and already you can see it's very cracked. This looks very heavy clay. It's cracking because of the dry weather that we're having. And also, as you can see, it's 1 o'clock, so it's pretty much midday. Okay, we're only in early April, but this side of the street is already in heavy shade from the building here. So it means that anything that gets planted here, you're going to have limited colour. It's going to have to deal with a lot of shade all year round. So I'm not sure why this hasn't been planted yet. Oh, it's been planted up to here, So again, we've got lots of grass. It's amazing. The part that's not being planted looks relatively free from litter, and then suddenly you come into this bit that's planted and the first thing you see is a load of litter. I mean, you just couldn't make this up. You just really can't make this shit up. It's just absolutely disgusting. So yeah, all I'm seeing like, yeah, okay, these are shade-loving plants, and your primulas can deal with a bit of shade. We've got some grasses. Okay, yeah, okay. So because it's maybe, it's been a long time between the soil being laid and it's actually being planted out, you're not sure which are weeds and which are plants that have actually been planted. So these are Tiarellas, so they've been planted, but they look like weeds that you may want to leave them. Not sure what they are. They could be foxgloves, them, not sure. Okay. Yeah. Got some Begonia, they'll deal with shade. And Brunnera, they'll deal with shade. Yeah, so whoever's planted that kind of knows what they're doing. But again, just the litter that's already collected. So let's I think we'll cross over onto the sunny side of the street. Let's just go. Now just look at this. Just look at this absolute disaster area. Absolute, complete disaster area. What is happening here? What are the workmen doing? This is just absolute garbage. What is that all about? Absolute shite. And if this is a rain garden, if this is a sud system, why have we got a drain at the top? The idea is this should fill it with water and drain at the bottom, holding the water back. Well, if the water goes straight down there, then it means this is going to hold less water. So I'm not sure of the sense of that. Maybe I'm just not seeing things right. This is just so dispiriting. This just makes me just want to not ever come into the city centre again, because I don't want to live surrounded by this shit. Don't want to live in this kind of pile of trash. Jesus. Just absolute horrendous. A lot worse than what I thought. An absolute lot worse. All the kind of concrete's coming away there at the side. It's already breaking off. Whoever's done this really don't know what they're doing. And then that's sunken too low. That should be a little bit higher, as I understand it, so that again, the water doesn't just come down and then run down the drain. That has to be raised so that only when water gets up to a certain level, this should all be kind of full with maybe 4 to 6 inches of water before it then goes down the drain, or maybe over into the next rain garden here when they've not dug a channel here so that can happen. It's just absolute garbage. Complete and utter garbage. So spotty. The planting is really... There's nothing up on the sides there at all. And there's nothing up here. Now, I'm willing to accept if somebody from the council or from Amy or whoever's responsible for doing this scheme comes on and says, well, actually, there is more planting to put in. Okay. When? So that we can observe the planting going in. You know, it's just horrendous. And some of these shrubs, you know, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. But again, it's like, is this just some kind of employment scheme? Or is the mindset of, oh, this is happening, or this is good because it employs some people? Well, I'll tell you now, I would rather have people who knew what they were doing, were passionate about the scheme, and wanted to do it as a volunteer, than people who are simply doing it because they get paid and they don't really give a toss because it provides them with a bit of an income. Not interested. Now, we're coming to a bit that looks really quite reasonable. So, as I say, I'm going to really slag it off when I see that it's awful. But then I've come to a bit here that actually looks really, really good. There looks to be quite a nice variety of plants. They're well spaced without any gaps where, you know, either they've run out of plants or for some reason they haven't planted, or the plants maybe have died. Hajuga there, another Tiarella. They will all deal with a bit of shade. Because as you can see, we're on the other side of the road. Basically, that way is south. And you've got, you know, what's that, 8 stories there, and then about 12 to 15 stories there, casting a shade over this area most of the year. So this is only probably going to get direct sunlight very early in the morning or late in the day, except for maybe May, June, July, and probably a bit of August or something. So this bed, again, there's still a bit of litter there, which, you know, you would expect. There's litter up there, it's going to blow down onto here. But the planting on this does look a bit better. Again, they could do with some more around there. So it's not perfect. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 at the moment. So far, the whole thing has been about a 2, a 1 or a 2. In fact, I could even give it a negative score, but I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be. Just look at this. Can't find the right word. Sorry. Just get wound up. Again, that's too deep. If the water comes in here off the road, it's just going to go straight down that drain. It's not going to go into that area and up to that one there. It's like, what were the workmen doing? Did they not understand how this actually works? And just look at the state of that. Now, I know this is obviously old planting and whatever, but you know, you've got these student flats, you've got these apartments that are making huge amounts of rent in council tax and whatever for whoever owns the building or the flats and the council itself, and yet they can't keep the area clean. It's goddamn awful. There's no excuse that it's a student area. No excuse at all that it's a student area. Just like it wouldn't matter if it's an area with lots of immigrants in. I expect it to be clean. I expect it to be litter picked regularly. I mean, just look at the state of that. It's absolutely disgusting. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. So, we're okay, right, okay. I think the camber on this looks okay.
You've got such a biased view of Preston.
It's downhill and it's flowing into there. But that is still too low. That drain there should be raised up. So So the water doesn't just rush down it straight away, that it actually fills this area up a little bit and holds water back. So it's flowed on so many, let's just go up here again a bit. It's flowed in so many different ways. Again, why is that sunk? Why have they sunk it like that? Water's just going to run off here, down into that ditch and straight down the drain. So it's not doing its job as a sud system, as a rain garden. It's just not doing its job. Quite nicely planted here, this side. Again, I don't need to repeat myself, do I? The litter is just horrendous. But yeah, why have they put all these drains so low down? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Oh my giddy aunt. Alright. Let's go and have a look further down here. The whole idea is that each section is raised and holds water for a bit until it flows over, and then that section fills up and holds water, and then the next one flows over, and then eventually you get the final one which fills up, but that should be raised a good 6 to 8 inches higher so that this area fills, and ideally there needs to be a channel that goes under there into that next one. So this fills up, but it can fill up so much where it does overflow, but also when it goes under a channel and actually goes down into this one, but that's not obviously being done here. And again, for some reason we've got two, I don't know. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that. This is awful. This is absolutely goddamn awful. This is just horrendous. On every conceivable level. What's the plant? What's happening with the planting? And again, what is this? It doesn't work. It's not going to work if we have heavy rain. Please, if I'm getting something wrong, if somebody from the council or from whoever the engineers are who've actually put this in want to make a comment and just explain why those drains are that low down and how having that drain that low down helps or enables this area here to fill with water before the water goes down into the drain. Because there's something, either I'm missing something, or more likely, the people who built this didn't know what the, excuse my language again, what the fuck they were doing. Now, it may be that if water runs down, there may be a little bit of a channel here for water to run down and sit into, and that drain there may be raised a little bit. So it's hard for me to tell from this angle, but even so, that should be raised a little bit more so that the water can flow over there and into that one before it goes down that drain. But if you have a lot of rain, so that's actually flowing a little bit more, then it will start to go down the drain. So once this is filled up, you want to make sure that there is some escape route, because you don't want this area being flooded outside of the sud system. So again, the planting is really quite boringly repetitive. I don't know if there's going to be any bulbs under here that are going to come up in summer. I somehow doubt it. Right, this actually might work. So you see how it looks to me like the edge of that there is higher than this here. So if water fills all these up and then comes over that little ledge there, then this area will fill up, but once it gets to a certain level, it will then go down that drain. So that looks like it's been set to the right kind of level. And then, so that's kind of the end of that drainage system, and then you've got another one starting here. And again, just they've put the drain right at the bottom of. I'm just lost for words. I'm not lost for words, obviously, because I'm talking too much. But it's everything about it. It's just when you think of Sheffield City Council or the people that they employ, you always think of incompetence. And I'm just desperate for somebody involved with the council or involved with people who work for the council to be competent. And I have seen the odd bit of that. You go up and you look at Manor Fields and the sud schemes up there and what they've done up there to refurb that area. That's how it should be done. It's quality. It's beautiful. Somebody who designed it knew what they were doing. The people who've done this, one, don't seem to know what they were doing. And yeah, I'm getting more and more depressed as I kind of come along here. So we're down at the Dutch roundabout. So let's have a little look. Right, this looks a little bit cleaner. There's still a bit of litter around. Again, the planting still looks very sparse. Yeah. Now the roundabout itself, let's just zoom in a little bit. Press here. There we go. That looks really quite well planted. It's like, this is our focal point, and you know, aren't we wonderful because we've done this one roundabout. It's British Leyland of the 1970s, isn't it? It's like, oh, we'll do just enough so that the car will drive on the road for a few months before it breaks down. Slight exaggeration there, but people of a certain age will know what I mean. So yeah, so we've got the same there. Let's have a little look along here, because it does go along here a bit. Along this part of West Bar. Right, I might actually film this in two videos. I might just take a walk along the original scheme on another video. We'll see. Well, there's virtually nothing there. There is virtually nothing there. I mean, I'm struggling to give this all round 2 out of 10. It's just not a thing. Just go and watch my videos. I know that it was filmed at a different time of year. It was filmed in summer, but just go and have a look at the variety of plants on my walk from West Bar down to Park Square roundabout. And I remember watching them putting the plants in and seeing how they did it and the variety of plants. It was just wonderful to behold, because it was done by, you know, people who knew what they were doing, the university. If you let engineers do what horticulturalists should be doing, then you're going to end up with a naff system, unless there's strong direction there from Oh my god. Right, so I don't know if you can see this. Try and get my camera as straight as I can. But this pavement slopes that way. And you can tell that because even though we haven't had any rain, obviously when it does rain, the rain falls and then goes whichever way the pavement is, you know, leaning. So you can see how there's debris down this channel here from previous rain events. And no debris in this corner here. Now, these inlets are supposed to have water running into there from this pavement. How's that going to happen? By magic? Water uphill? You couldn't make this up. This just gets worse and worse. And again, this is not in a matter of opinion. I'm talking about facts here. Engineering facts, biological facts. It's just ridiculous. So what you want these actually at the side of the road, because the road again cambers slightly that way. So the water runs into this area and is held here, but it's not going to be held very long because again these two drains are sitting quite low down. Nothing's been planted in that except for some litter there. Let's just have an area just for litter, why don't we? And so all along here you've got these useless, I don't know how much more expensive or whether they are, these are than your normal edging curbs, but when you put them on the wrong side of the footpath it's unbelievably incompetent. Unbelievably incompetent. What are we doing, Sheffield? What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? God, I'm so angry. It's so unnecessary. So absolute unnecessary. Because I can't be bothered. As long as I've got my wage at the end of the month, I don't give a toss. Just soul destroying. Absolute soul destroying. Look at this. Look at this kind of underlay that should go all the way under. It should be underneath that, whatever it's called, that kind of solid gravelly bit there. And again, more. I'm trying to look out straight. This might be quite a level piece because we've got detritus in this side, but also some detritus at that side. So it may be that this is quite flat, but obviously coming slightly downhill this way. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope I'm making myself clear. Some nice trees though here. Multi-stem birch there. It's quite nice. This is quite a nicely planted area. This looks quite good. Yeah, this is a little bit more like it. Yeah, quite like that one. Right. Right, I'm going to finish off here, this video, just to have a look at this bed. Got some euphorbia here. Again, lots of grasses. Which, as I said, I think on my first video on Fargate, if the grasses are quite tall and start to move about in the wind, by tall I don't mean 6 or 8 foot, I'm talking 3, 4, maybe 5 foot, and they're obviously not blocking sights, sight lines for the cars. I mean, we've had trees and shrubs on roundabouts and surrounding roundabouts for years, so that's really not an issue. But yeah, some more primroses. I mean, those are small grasses, they're not going to grow tall. Right, I packed a lot into that video. I hope you can see all the problems that really all of these issues should have been addressed as the scheme was going on and was actually being created and being built. But obviously they didn't have a project manager looking after it. There wasn't anybody from the council who was coming along and saying, you've done that wrong, you need to redo it again or whatever. Because they've just messed up a whole sud scheme that's cost I don't know how many millions in a way that I've just pointed out. So I'm going to leave that here now and just go and do the older grey to green starting just there. So I'll see you in a minute as I start the next one. Oh, by the way, it's a beautiful day though. Look at that sunshine, absolutely fantastic. Bye for now.